Buongiorno, welcome back to the channel guys. Today we are making beautiful risotto. Yes, I mean, if you watched my last video I mentioned that we're taking a trip down to Italy. We are continuing that with some nice creamy risotto, one of the best Italian vegetarian meals, and you cannot go wrong with beautiful risotto because it is so creamy, it is so tasty. And today we are going to make it the most authentic way so that you can make this at home any time of the week. I'm going to show you the technique as well as the flavor profile to get the most delicious risotto made at home. So let's get to it. So when it comes to risotto, you need a few ingredients. Firstly, you need some type of risotto rice. This is a risotto rice that is sold in Woolworths that is popular here in South Africa. If you can get your hands on Carnaroli rice, then that is one of the best risotto rice to use. Unfortunately, we hardly get that here in South Africa. You'll probably find it at the Italian deli, but for convenience sake, I found some risotto rice off the shelf. And I mean, it might not be the best, but you can still make a top-notch risotto with this. Next, we need some mushrooms. Now, it's very popular to use some mushrooms. Porcini mushrooms are very commonly used. Unfortunately, it's a very difficult mushroom to find, so if it is in stock, you are lucky. Unfortunately, I could not get porcini mushrooms, but I have some portobellini mushrooms. Whatever type of mushroom you can get hold of, doesn't really matter. I try to stay away from mushrooms that hold a lot of water, so stuff like oyster mushrooms I stay away from. This does not have the right texture when it comes to risotto. So portobellini or porcini, if you can find some, you're going to have a top-notch risotto. Another popular ingredient is cheese. Now, a very popular cheese to use is Parmesan, but I love Pecorino cheese, Pecorino Romano. The both cheeses have a good, salty, mature taste to it. It really takes your risotto to a whole nother level when it comes to flavor. Parmigiano or Pecorino, you're good to go. Next, we need some Italian parsley. This is finely chopped Italian parsley, fresh Italian parsley, which is also really important. Try to stay away from dried parsley. Dry parsley is just a big no-no. You also need some onions. Now, I try to go for shallots, which is also one of my favorite onions to use. Unfortunately, I could not find shallots anywhere today, and I had to go with the traditional onion. So half an onion minced up, and you will still make a good risotto. Another ingredient you have to use is vino, white wine. Yes, people, you cannot cook risotto without some beautiful white wine. Now, you can use rosé if you want to. I would go for more drier wine because of the alcohol in it, which gives it a deeper flavor profile. But if you have rosé at home, if you're a rosé drinker, by all means use it. Preferably white wine and not red wine. We're making a risotto and we want the rice to obviously be white. Stick with white wine. I have beautiful Chardonnay here. This is my all-time favorite Chardonnay, the Westhof, which is a popular winery here in South Africa, and they make one of my favorite Chardonnays. So use a wine that you drink. I love Chardonnay. It is one of my favorite wines to use when making risotto. Man, that is good. Whew. Anyways, moving on. The next ingredient is olive oil. You need some beautiful olive oil to cook the risotto as well as end of the dish. I would go with cold extracted olive oil or your normal extra virgin olive oil that you have at home, but you can get away with using canola oil or vegetable oil when making your risotto. Last but not least, we have some beautiful chicken stock. This is 1 liter of chicken stock that I'm going to use to cook that risotto. It's so important to use a stock and not water because you want a good depth of flavor. And in order to achieve that, you need to use some stock, vegetable stock or chicken stock to cook your risotto. Man, we want to take this risotto to a whole nother level. Even though it's the most authentic dish you can make at home, the simplicity, the fresh ingredients that you use just elevates that dish, and at the end you will make the most delicious risotto at home. Trust me. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first thing I want to do is cook some mushrooms. I want a nice mushroom risotto. You can get away without mushrooms and make just a plain risotto, but that is too boring. I would suggest getting some mushrooms and throwing in there. So since I'm only cooking for myself today, the missus is on a diet, so it's just me and a beautiful bowl of risotto, so I do not need to cook that much. Let's cook for one person, which is really easy. So let's get the heat on. When I cook mushrooms, I never add in oil into the pan because mushrooms hold a lot of water. So the best thing to do is let them saute on their own without any olive oil. This will help draw all of that water. Just a good handful of mushrooms. While that's going to draw water, I'm going to throw in some salt. Salt will actually extract more water out of that mushrooms. Let's wait for that water to come out. Once the mushrooms get a little bit toasty, as you see that water sweating out of the mushrooms, then I will throw in some olive oil and finally cook that mushroom down and add some beautiful fresh parsley. So as you can see, I'm using a non-stick pan here. You can use a pot. I feel using a non-stick pan and getting the risotto toasted, you do not need to spend so much time stirring the risotto when cooking it because it's a non-stick pan. If you're using a stainless steel pot, then you need to make sure for that 20 to 30 minutes that you keep stirring the risotto because you do not want that rice to stick to that pot. So it's so important to remember that even though the dish is really simple, it takes a little effort to get that perfect al dente risotto rice. For those that do not know what al dente means, basically it's a way they cook pasta or risotto in Italy, getting a nice firm texture, a nice chewy bite on your pasta or risotto means it's al dente. You don't want your risotto rice to be all mushy. Al dente is so different from what we usually eat in a restaurant. At the restaurant, you normally eat fresh pasta, which is soft. And when you cook with dry pasta like the Italians do, high quality dry pasta that is, you get that nice chewy bite. It's so different, and I only experienced this when I went to Italy. Unfortunately, never in South Africa. Nowadays, when I go to an Italian restaurant in South Africa and I eat pasta, I'm like, man, this is so far away from how they really make it in Italy. But I guess we are so used to eating it a certain way. If we eat al dente pasta, we're going to think that pasta is not cooked. But it's all dependent on how you like your pasta or your risotto, and you cook it until you feel that it tastes good for you. So don't stress about that as long as you cook your risotto and you are happy with what you have. As you can see, those mushrooms are nicely sweating out all that water, and that's exactly what we want. And we're going to now give it a good touch of olive oil because, man, olive oil just takes it up a notch. So just a drizzle goes in. Also, I do not want to oversalt my mushrooms. I'm using Pecorino Romano, which is quite a salty cheese, and because it's nicely matured, it gives this nice flavor to the dish. And man, if you like Parmigiano, then you are going to love Pecorino because Pecorino is too nice. Good sip of Chardonnay. Man, I love this wine. Oh, so good. Man, I am planning 2 videos coming out soon on my other channel. Link in the description below. The 2 videos can be focused on our top 5 red wines here in South Africa, as well as our top 5 white wines in South Africa. So if you are a vino lover, if you love wine like me, then you are going to enjoy those videos. Coming out really soon. My main channel link is in the description below. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell as well, because whenever videos are out, you will get notified. So my mushrooms are nicely sauteed. All I want to do is now take some fresh parsley and just give it a good showering of some Italian parsley. I mean, man, the aromatics right now, people, god damn. Grab my pepper mill, I close the top so that I get a finer grain of peppercorns coming out, and give it a good showering of some pepper. Black pepper, that is. Man, it smells so good up in here. So my mushrooms are done. I'm going to now transfer this to another bowl and start with a beautiful risotto. Okay, now same pan, we're adding a teeny bit of olive oil. Let's get that olive oil a little hot. Okay, we are still on a medium to low heat, so do not touch that heat. You do not want to burn your risotto. This is a really critical step, because if you over toast your risotto, you're going to have burnt bits of the rice in your beautiful risotto, and you don't want that. So leave the heat at medium to low heat, let that oil get a little hot, and it is time to throw in some onion. If you can find shallots, by all means use that, because that takes your dish to a whole nother level. Fortunately, I only have normal onions today, so half an onion finely chopped goes in my pan. I have a wooden spoon here. What is an Italian dish without a wooden spoon? You know, let those onions sweat out. You can add in just a teeny bit more olive oil. So you want those onions cook around 5 to 6 minutes. Let those onions sweat out properly, and then we will start with our rice. Now, the risotto rice, 1 cup serves around 2 people, 2 cups 4 to 5 people. It all depends on how much you want to make. Today I'm making just 1 cup because it's just me. Might be a little bit too much, but what's wrong with having a little leftover, right? Make sure that you read the instructions on your risotto rice. This rice tells me that it takes 30 to 45 minutes to cook. Only when I start cooking this rice with my beautiful chicken stock, then only I will start my timer on my clock. It needs to be al dente, but don't worry, I got you. I'm going to show you how to cook that step by step. So in the meantime, let's get some risotto rice in our bowl. Now we are just getting 1 cup, so 1 cup is about 250 mils. I would say go maybe 300 grams. Let's get 1 cup in. So our onions are nicely sauteed. As you can see, they're going a little bit yellow, not too brown, and that is exactly what you want. So really simple. All you want to do now is grab your risotto rice and throw this baby in. Okay, it's time to mix this baby up on a medium to low heat. Okay, and basically what we want to do here is toast the rice. We don't want to burn it. We want it slightly toasted. It just gives it a deeper depth of flavor. So a little toasty, and then we will start cooking this with the stock. Make sure you keep moving your rice around. You don't want it to get burnt. And the good thing is, because I'm using a non-stick pan, you have no issues, right? If you're using a stainless steel pan, then you really need to keep an eye on your rice, because that can stick really quickly and you don't want that. So non-stick pan or a non-stick wok will do, and you're going to still end up with beautiful risotto. A squisito. So now that there is some good heat in that rice, all I want to do is take my beautiful wine. Man, that is good. So about half cup of white wine, throw that in and let that wine reduce. Man, white wine, dry white wine is going to take your risotto to a whole nother level. So let that wine soak into all of that rice. Let that reduce. I would say give this about 5 to 10 minutes to reduce. I mean, we're working on a medium to low heat here. When it comes to risotto, it's all about patience. And I'm not a really patient person, but the wine calmed me down today, so I can be a little patient when making risotto. Once that has been reduced and all the alcohol has evaporated, it is time to start cooking the risotto with our chicken stock. As you can see, my risotto rice, there is no liquid left from that wine, so it's time to add in your stock. This gives you a good indication to start cooking with stock. So I can now start timing this, and I got about 20 to 25 minutes, almost 30 minutes to cook this. Work a little slow, because in the end you're going to have the most delicious risotto. Trust me on this. Now taking some beautiful chicken stock, okay? You don't want too much of liquid in here. You want the rice to look a little creamy and moist. And as you see the stock dry out, add in more stock. dry out, add in more stock, dry out, add in more stock. So that gives you a good indication when to add your stock. You want it to keep cooking in that chicken stock, and that is what's going to make beautiful al dente risotto. Okay, let's go in again. I mean, it's so easy when working with a non-stick pan. If you had a stainless steel pot, which is the most preferred or commonly used item, you are going to stand there and stir because that rice tends to stick to that pan. With a non-stick pan, you do not have that issue, so you can let that sit, let that liquid absorb into that rice, let that depth of flavor increase. I mean, man, it just cannot wait. It is looking so amazing. This is what it takes to get al dente risotto. So we're coming down to our last 10 minutes, and I've just tasted some and it is still a little grainy, which means we have around 10 minutes more to go. I mean, 30 minutes looks like it's going to sort this risotto out and make it nice and al dente, but we'll never know until we get to that last minute. As you see it drying up, let's keep adding that stock. You want this risotto to be cooked properly before eating. So we are coming down to our last 5 minutes of cooking this beautiful risotto. It is smelling amazing with the onions. Man, beautiful risotto. It's always good to do the risotto test where you kind of make a line in it and see how quickly the risotto goes back in place. So as you can see, it's a little bit slow, but it's getting there, and we have a few more minutes. So let's get our bowl. Okay, throw in just a little bit of mushroom. Okay, give this your final stir. Add in some salt for seasoning. Give it a taste. Oh yes, that is al dente. I mean, still got a nice bite to it, not too mushy, and that is exactly what you want. Man, that's good. So we are now done cooking the risotto. You can turn the heat off, place this baby down. Now what you want to do is grab yourself a nice block of butter. That goes in. Let that butter soak in. You want this to get even more creamier. Man, it is looking so good already. We are almost there. Now for the most important ingredient, some beautiful cheese, Parmigiano or Pecorino. Let's put in some beautiful Pecorino and take this dish to a whole nother level. God damn. Okay, beautiful Pecorino, and that is going to give it some good seasoning because Pecorino is slightly salty, so that depth of flavor is just going to go. This is what I love about the Italian people. Their dishes are so simple, you just need a bit of patience. And look at that. Beautiful risotto goes in my bowl over that little mushrooms. Okay. Give it a small bang. Look at that, people. We finished this off with the rest of the mushrooms. You can drop in some fresh parsley. Hit this again with some beautiful Pecorino. There we have it, people. The most delicious risotto made at home. How easy was that? Man, it looks so good. This is exactly what I'm talking about, people. So good. And you can finish this off with a slight drizzle of beautiful olive oil. Golden liquid has been added, and let's taste this baby. Oh my god. Hoo, hoo, hoo. I mean, vegetarians, best dish to make. So rich with that butter, with that olive oil, and then that pecorino cheese just gives it that blast at the end. Oh my god, man. Now that is what I call beautiful risotto, esquisito. Oh my god, man. Anyways, I'm going to go by the missus and eat this in front of her, and let's see if she'll take a bite. But before I go, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as that notification bell, and I will see you on the next one. We have beautiful carbonara on the next episode, so make sure you subscribe. I will see you on the next one.